Well, everyone, it seems we've reached the really stage of international diplomacy. Remember those trade spats? The ones where everyone throws tariffs around like confetti at a ticker tape parade? Yeah, well, Canada's decided to up the ante. They might just cut off access to Alaska. You heard that right. The Canadians, those lovable people known for maple syrup and passive-aggressive apologies, are playing hardball. This isn't some late-night comedy bit, everyone. This is real life, and it's about to get interesting. Buckle up, America, because we're going on a trip to the 49th parallel, and this time, it's personal. Back in the halcyon days of, well, a few years ago, a certain someone, and I'm being deliberately vague here because lawyers decided that tariffs were the answer to everything. Trade deficit, tariffs. Unfavorable trade deals, tariffs. A mild case of the sniffles. You guessed it, tariffs. Canada, being America's friendly neighbor to the north, was understandably a little miffed. They'd been a reliable trading partner for decades, and suddenly, they were on the receiving end of economic sanctions usually reserved for, actual adversaries. Now you might expect Canada to roll over and accept these tariffs with a polite, "Sorry, eh?" But that's where you'd be wrong. They say the meek shall inherit the earth, but apparently they also inherit a backbone made of Tim Hortons coffee stirrers. Canada decided to retaliate, and not with your typical diplomatic, strongly worded letter. No, they decided to hit America where it hurts, Alaska. And how exactly are they planning to do that? By essentially turning the 49th parallel into a very long, very polite toll booth. Here's the thing about Alaska, folks. It's beautiful, it's wild, and it's not exactly connected to the rest of the US. Think of it like that friend who moved to a remote island. Great to visit, but getting there is a whole ordeal. Most of Alaska's goods come through Canada either by road or sea. We're talking everything from groceries to construction materials to, ironically enough, those little American flags everyone sticks on their lawns. So, yeah, Canada choking off that supply chain, it's a big deal. So how exactly is Canada planning to pull this off? Well, the province of British Columbia, which just so happens to be the gateway to Alaska, has come up with a brilliant plan. Tolls. Lots and lots of tolls. Imagine this. You're a trucker hauling a load of frozen fish sticks to Anchorage, and suddenly you're staring down a line of trucks longer than a Sarah Palin book signing. That's the reality Canada's threatening to unleash, and it's going to make getting goods to Alaska about as fun and affordable as a root canal. But wait, there's a treaty. Now you might be thinking, hold on a minute, John, can Canada even legally do that? And you'd be right to ask. There's a little thing called a treaty that's supposed to prevent this kind of border shenanigans. The treaty, signed over a century ago, guarantees free passage of goods between the United States and Alaska through Canadian territory. This treaty, known as the Treaty of Washington, was a significant agreement that aimed to foster cooperation and ease tensions between the neighboring countries. Treaties are often subject to interpretation, and over the years, various administrations have had different views on how strictly these agreements should be enforced. The Treaty of Washington was not just about trade, it was also about establishing a framework for peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit. It included provisions for the resolution of disputes and mechanisms for cooperation in various areas, including fisheries and navigation. However, as time passed, the original intentions of the treaty have sometimes been overshadowed by national interests and changing political priorities. This has led to occasional friction and the need for renegotiation or reinterpretation of the treaty's terms. In today's interconnected world, the principles of the Treaty of Washington still hold relevance. They remind us of the importance of diplomacy, negotiation, and the rule of law in maintaining international order. So, the next time you hear about a border dispute or a trade disagreement, remember that there's often a historical context and a legal framework that underpins these issues. If Canada really wants to play hardball, they have a few more tricks up their sleeve. Picture this: heightened security at the border, with every car being meticulously checked. It's like they're saying, "Welcome to Canada, but not so fast." They could, for example, make things really difficult for ships heading to Alaska. Imagine the logistical nightmare for shipping companies, with delays and reroutes becoming the new norm. It's like navigating a maze where the walls keep shifting. Or they could simply forget to renew work visas for Americans living in Canada, which would be awkward to say the least. Picture the chaos at immigration offices, with frustrated travelers and long lines becoming a daily occurrence. Canada, the usually polite and reserved nation, is ready to make some noise. Except in this case, the stapler is Alaska. And the stakes are much higher than a classroom dispute. It's a geopolitical chessboard where every move counts, and Canada is ready to play its hand. So, as we watch this unfold, one thing is clear: Canada is not to be underestimated. They may be known for their politeness, but when push comes to shove, they can be just as strategic and assertive as any other nation. From the vast wilderness to the bustling cities, Canada is a land of contrasts. And in this diplomatic dance, they're showing that they can be both gentle and firm depending on what the situation demands. In the end, it's all about balance, finding that sweet spot between standing firm and maintaining good relations. And if anyone can do it with a touch of passive-aggressive flair, it's Canada. So, what happens if Canada goes full on? Sorry not sorry and cuts off access to Alaska? Well, let's just say it wouldn't be pretty. We're talking skyrocketing prices, empty shelves, and a whole lot of Alaskans wondering if they can survive on a diet of salmon and moose jerky. And it's not just Alaska that would feel the pain. The United States economy as a whole would take a hit, and the carefully crafted web of international trade would get even more tangled than usual. So, what does the future hold for the United States and Canada? This question has been on the minds of many, especially as the world becomes more interconnected and the challenges we face grow more complex. The 49th parallel, a line that has long symbolized the peaceful coexistence between these two nations, may see changes that reflect the evolving dynamics of international relations. While the idea of border skirmishes might seem far-fetched, it's a reminder that even the closest of neighbors can have disagreements that escalate if not managed carefully. But one thing's for sure: this whole Alaska situation is a wake-up call. The unique geographical position of Alaska, separated from the contiguous United States by Canada, adds another layer of complexity to the relationship. The logistics of travel and trade between Alaska and the rest of the U.S. require cooperation with Canada, making it essential for both nations to maintain a positive and collaborative relationship. It's a reminder that even the friendliest of neighbors have their limits. No matter how strong the bond, there are always challenges that test the relationship. It serves as a cautionary tale highlighting the importance of diplomacy, understanding, and cooperation in maintaining a harmonious relationship between the United States and Canada. As we look to the future, it's crucial to remember that the actions we take today will shape the world we live in tomorrow.